Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about influences on HR practices and strategies in the Unit 2.1 of IB Business Management. The influences will come from the three topics, innovation, ethics, and culture. Here's just a short overview of all the topics in this unit, and all of those topics are in a video format on my channel, so please check them out. So now, coming to the influence on HR practices, the first type or topic is about innovation and its influence on the HR practices and strategies. So HR managers increasingly rely on the use of ICT, or that's a shortcut for information communication technologies, in the workforce planning. And of course, this all these technological advances are all innovations, and that's why it ties into this topic. For example, a company website, which is of course only made possible through technological advancements, is there to often advertise job vacancies, in the recruitment process. Also, job interviews are conducted through conferencing facilities. I had my first job interview through Zoom, I believe. So that literally applied to my situation. Also, social media and networks like Facebook also help with the recruitment process. Maybe some of you guys have heard about LinkedIn, and that's also kind of like the business Instagram where every company has a profile and everyone has their profile talking about the experiences and qualifications, and then you can match up with other companies and maybe look for some job opportunities there, or firms also recruit over on this platform. Now the next topic would be ethics and its influences. I'm sorry for that. So concerns has been raised about employers that take advantage of flexi time and part-time workers while increasing their margins due to lower operating costs. Um, so what this is talking about is that it's a bit frowned upon, or not frowned upon, but there has been some concern raised about firms that only or that often use flexi time and part-time workers, um, which is also closely linked with less benefits for the workers and less pay for the workers as compared to the full-time employment contract. And they do that to increase their margins due to having lower operating costs as a result of this practice. And that's why some concern has been raised, and that's due to ethics. Also, unethical treatment of workforce has big consequences, such as a potential lawsuits against the firm, damage to corporate image, which is pretty big today, also with the whole cancel culture. If you guys have been keeping up with the whole internet thing, and also lower staff morale. So it also goes through the whole staff, and it internally affects the business. Also, due to unethical behavior of some offshore firms, you can always, if you listen to news, you've probably heard of cases where there was labor often used in countries in Africa, or also poor safety measures where even people or employees died in the firm. And that's why more and more businesses choose to reshore due to these uh, unethical processes and behaviors abroad of its own division. The last topic is culture and its influences. A weak corporate culture and slash or poor HR management often leads to higher labor turnovers. We've talked about higher labor turnovers and what all the disadvantages of those are. So that's a pretty big influence. High labor turnover basically means that there are more and more employees leaving the firm. Also, to some firms, due to that culture, human resources, so all the people in the business, are viewed as long-term investments, which leads to the business focusing more on training and development of these human resources, which is a huge benefit, can be a huge benefit for all the people working there because they're developing their qualifications, their skills. It also goes into the motivation theories, which we'll be covering later on in this unit with all the self-actualization, the Maslow's hierarchy, that the people still want to develop their skills and the knowledge, and that's what's happening more and more in firms due to this culture. Also, culture in some countries makes it unacceptable for subordinates to appraise their senior colleagues, as done in the 360-degree feedback. So we've talked about the appraisal methods, and there was this one appraisal method about the 360-degree feedback, where pretty much everyone working with that employee gives some sort of feedback or appraisal to that employee, so you have a wide range of perspectives on 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 this employee and on his work. But in many countries, one example would be, for example, Korea could be an example, especially in the older days, but also a lot of European countries in the back in the days would have been not imaginable, unimaginable to do for a subordinate to do a feedback, to give a feedback of his higher up manager. It's just unthinkable in that culture, and that's why this doesn't happen. Um, this 360-degree feedback it's not possible in those countries and the organizations that operate in those countries. So I hope this helped you a bit. Finally, we're done with Unit 2.1, and the next units will be easier and will not be as teetersome to revise. So please look forward to these. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.